Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Stappenbach here on Farming Simulator 17. I'm just coming in here to shove these pallets out the way. We got two over there, we got two more here that are ready. So if I can just sort of bulldoze these out of the way, the mill can carry on making mill stuff, and we can carry on doing some other things before we need to come over here and deal with some of this. I would like to do some stuff with these pallets at some point soon, and I'm not really sure what we're supposed to do. I mean, there's a place that we can go and sell them, but I don't know if we sell those or if we sell the other ones, because there's other pallets that we're sort of dealing with over there, and I also want to go and do something with them as well, just at least to find out what they're for, what they're about. Let's run over this way a minute. Scramble up onto there, and then up on... No! I'm supposed to be able to parkour my way... There we go, look at that. And then right over the fence. Right, so then we look over here, we've got... Well, it says... Empty pallets, 0. I've got empty pallets there. But Bretta Paladin, we don't have anything. Doesn't look like much is happening there at the moment. We're going to have to bring a pallet forks over and do something with the pallets in there. We'll probably try and do that later today if we can. So anyway, the mill can get going now if it needs to. We'll have to bring this one over to the mill a little bit later and we'll do that. But right now what I want to do is I want to come over here. We're back at the beef unit. We've got a little tiny bit of solid manure down through here that we may want to do something with. And quite honestly, I'm not really sure. But we've also got 22 calves in here. And it's the 22 calves that have interested me more than anything else. I want to see if we can get any money out of the beef here. You know, it's time to start trying to sell a few things if we can. Now, the weekly question, or the monthly question, was... where do you want us to spend the next 4-week session? And I was asked last week, you know, where are we up to? This is the final week of this 4-week block. So, as of Monday next week, where are we going to be? Did you want to stay here on Stappenbach? Did you want to go to Tuscan Lands, one set in Italy? Did you want to go to Old Slovenian Farm, a rather delightful small farm that I've had several people request? Dutch Polder, one set in Holland in the Netherlands, or Kleinhau, another German map. So which one did you want? And we had 1,489 votes on all of that. So that's the cows there. That's the adult cows. We don't want those. It's these here. We have 22.99 calves here. If we wait for just a short while, well, it actually doesn't really matter. We want to do this. We want to load these bad boys up like this. We've got 14 calves on here, or young stock anyway, that are ready. So we'll take those. Yes, I want to take them. And we've got to drive these off. You cannot sell these via the shortcut menu that you can normally use for other livestock. Now, is there a road? I don't think there is a road over this way. I think... oh, actually, there might be. I think, actually, yes, there might be. We might be able to just take one route straight out around the back of the farm and head out in this direction. Yes. Excellent. This is what I want. Okay. So we will head along here and we will take our cattle to market. So we have 1,489 votes. The Kleinhau map, the German one, that had 61 in total. The Tuscan Lands one, that actually had slightly less. That had 55. So neither of those had a look in. Old Slovenian Farms did a little better with 126. But still not really a look in. Now, the big surprise, and every time I think I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen, everything changes round. Stappenbach, staying here on Stappenbach for a fourth 4-week stint, that received 459 votes. So a lot of you do like the idea of staying here for a little bit longer. However, 788 people want us to move from here and go to Dutch Polder. So, this is it. This is our final week here in Stappenbach. We've got 3 days left to do anything that we might want to do here, and then we are off on our merry. We're going to Dutch Polder, the map set in Holland, in the Netherlands. That's where we're going as of next week. Now, I've been here for 3 months now, 3 4-week stints, And some people were asking me if I would be able to... Hang on a minute. Which way do I need to go for the cattle? Is it up there, or is it down that way? I don't remember. I don't remember. Let's have a look. Gardening. It's this one. I need to go from here. I don't want to go that way. No, I want to go... I want to go up there. So I do want to go this way. And then we want to turn off, and we've got to get across our pile of snow. That's slightly more tricky. In fact, I'm not even sure I can get across that pile of snow with this vehicle. Can I? Yeah, I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to get hopelessly stuck, completely and totally wedged on top of there. Those cars are better at it than I am. So what we'll do is we'll go up here, we'll turn around, and we'll have to approach the animal dealership from the opposite direction so that we can actually get in there. So we're going to have to go into our yard here and turn around, I think. We do that first. So yeah, we're moving on to Dutch Polder now. I've been here for 3 months, and I had several people asking if I was going to post the save game for this one on Modhoster. Yes, if I can. It does sometimes take me a few weeks to be able to get things posted up. It does depend on how, what sort of time I've got for various different things. But yeah, I will do my absolute best to get this one posted up onto Modhoster so that you can carry it on, because we've been here for quite a while now. Now, the backstory, we've taken out a massive loan for the poor bloke here, but it is starting to pay off. It's actually starting to pay now. So he has got a loan of 1.375 million. But we've set him up quite nicely, I feel. He's got cattle here that are busy making him money through the milk. He's got a beef fattening unit that is making him some money. He's got a composting unit there that doesn't actually make him any money, but we won't go into that. But it works. So he's got a supply of compost for his fields, should he ever need it. And generally, I feel we've helped him out immensely. He's got everything he needs. He's got land, he's got machinery, and he's gotten over the initial shock of being so far in debt, and his heart has now recovered, fortunately. That was a little bit of an unfortunate side effect. So overall, everything is looking rosy. He's quite happy, and we're able to move on. We're going to be moving on to our new location. And once again, we're going to be turning up at the new farm with €1 million in our briefcase, all ready to help out the next farmer that is in desperate need of our talented advice and so on and so forth. At least I hope it's talented. At least I do. So there is our little backstory, and that is how we're going to be continuing on with our backstory. We've got $1 million that we're going to be turning up with, and we are going to use every single little cent that we can. €1 million, euro dollars, well, euros. But yes, we've got piles of cash, and we're going to be helping out in Holland. We're moving to Holland. It's flat, okay? It's very flat. For those of you who are wanting hills, you won't be finding those in Holland. There are no hills in Holland. It's just flat. All very, very flat. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Right. Beef right here. We want to sell these for €3,500 a piece. We don't actually get 3,500. They cost that to buy. To sell, we get around about 2,000. So we've got 28,000 euros from that one trailer load there, from 14 animals. Now, this is the base game trailer. If we were to buy a different trailer, and, so that we could carry more, obviously, you'd get more per load, and each beef unit can have up to 30. Now, there's also the pig units that are scattered around that you don't have to pay to unlock. You can go straight into those. So we could, take some... We could do that. Let's do that right now. Let's see. I don't know if we're going to be able to do this or not, but I'm curious because the pig units are there. Oh, except that we have absolutely no grains. We'd have to buy in everything in order to make them work. So let's not worry about that. They're pretty much the same as the beef units. So, yeah, we really don't need to concern ourselves with them. And why am I going this way? I don't want to go... Actually, yes, I do. I do want to go this way. See our gritter that we parked up there? I completely forgot about that one. But yeah, what I actually want to do is I want to come up here and I want to swing round here because I can't carry on up that road up there because there's a load of snow on the end of it. But what I can do is I can swing in round there really tight like that, and then I can take a shortcut down this way and head home. So I am able to at least do that much, and we'll get this one back, and we're going to unhitch the stock trailer. I'm going to put the stock trailer... I actually want to put it down there. How can I get down there? From this distance, you can't see the snow in our little pen down there. But I assure you the snow is still there. If I can get this truck to swing round this corner a minute, we're going to have to... I wish it wouldn't do that. Doesn't like you turning super sharp with these things. Although in real life, you can actually turn super sharp with these things and... like, you can right back round on yourself. I've seen all sorts of things that you generally consider not possible, and it just kind of, you know, it happens. It's just a regular occurrence, and nobody bats an eyelid over it. There we go. We'll put that one there. We'll unhitch you. So there's our pile of snow. It's still doing well. It's only the second day of spring at the moment. Next thing that I wanted to do was... I'm actually going to have to go back down this way, because I want to sell the milk. So there's going to be a little bit more money coming in for us, which is absolutely wonderful. But I also wanted to just, as I'm coming down this way, I just want to pop in here a minute, jump out, and see, this is where you start. You've got 4 of these to start off with, and this is what I really like about this map. Right, so the Mutterschwein, you've got 40 sows that you could put in here, and then it's the water potato, straw, grass, dry grass silage, forage mixing, and then wheat, barley, and maize. So it's exactly the same as the cattle, and then you've got piglets at the bottom, 25 pieces. You get a load of manure and solid manure off of these as well. I do wonder, I mean, like, taking it to the composter and composting it and then loading it up again and moving it, it seems like a lot of work for not a great deal of return in order to then go and sell the compost. But if you're just taking the solid manure out of these places and the liquid and selling it, if you've got like a big enough tanker and you're able to move it, once you've got a BGA unlocked, I reckon that would probably be worth it. You know, because the sheer number of pig units that you start off with, if you were filling them all up and using them all, you would make a decent bit of money out of it, I think. I mean, I don't know how much money, but yeah, there is a, like, I do wonder if maybe we've missed out a little bit by not doing any of the pigs, but I didn't really want to branch into pigs. I wanted to sort of concentrate on the beef because it was a little bit different, and it wasn't what you started off with, so it was like pushing into other things. We still want to have a look at the timber, but first up, we need to go and get our truck from in here. So we'll run up there. There is our beautiful hot pink trailer. I love this trailer. I really do. This is in the pack, in the road train pack. Grab that one there, and then we can run this. And what I really like about this is the way that the tanker is labelled every time you put something in it. That is a really nice feature that I like. So we run this one here, and this time we're going to try and avoid the traffic, although the poor people that are walking along the road haven't fared too well with us being in this town, so maybe they will be glad. Well, the ones that have survived will be glad to see the back of us, because quite frankly, we haven't been like the best of drivers around here, have we? You know, there's been incidents. There's been multiple incidents up and down across the board. So if we run this one up in here, we've got a field of... Did we plant those fields? Hang on a minute. I was doing spring crops, wasn't I? We need to get started. That's still what's left over from last year. Look, that's all left over, and we own that field plus that field there. Well, it's that one, and then that one there is joined together. Those are smaller. We've got a field over here that we didn't do anything with, so we'll try and get. We'll have to get some of these planted now. Next question. I had some machinery, but I leased it, didn't I? what machinery have I still got? This is something that I'm not actually sure about anymore. We had some machinery, but most of it was leased, and then I sent it back again. And we're kitted out for grass around here, and we do have a combine, right? We do own a combine, but no, we do not own anything else. So we don't actually have any machinery for planting, which may slow us down a little bit when it comes to doing the spring planting. And I'm not sure that that is, you know, the best way to plan things out. I do want to get these cows being cleaned again. So first up, we'll come back into here and get that one right there. And let's see what we've got in the way of milk at the moment. We have 137,000 litres of milk in the tank. Now, the cows are going to need some more food, but the way we're going to do that is we're just going to use that forage tank that's up the end, rather than worrying about making up the mixed feed. It's just a lot quicker and easier. So let's start loading up this tank. We have got a massive amount of milk left here in the tank now, because we haven't really sold anything through the winter. Now, my one concern is the snow that was in this one is no longer in here. That's good. Right, well, that means we can start backing this one up this way, and it will slowly start getting through all of that grass there. And I'm hoping... So you do have to sort of slow down a little bit. When you've got masses of this stuff, what it'll do is the robot will kind of ride up onto it a little bit. But it won't gather all of it, and as soon as it rides up onto it a little bit, it moves the direction, just a tiny fraction that the robot is travelling. And normally that's not really much of an issue unless you've got a really long run like we've got in here. And then as soon as you've got a big long run like this, then it can start to cause problems. We've also got a load of manure over there that we need to deal with. We got lots of manure everywhere, and it's now starting to pile up. Right, that one's there ready to roll. And if I have a look, I want to go back this way and check these fields. I had it, yeah. See, we've spread fertilizer on everything, okay? Everything except for that one field over there. We put it onto the big grass field that we've got over here. So we don't actually need to worry about spreading fertilizer anywhere. We'll just leave the manure and we can, like, deal with that another time. What's actually going to happen is that you good folks, whoever decide to take over this map, you're the ones that are going to have to deal with all of the manure. Oh. I forgot about that. We don't have a workshop here at the farm. Not right here where we are. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get our machinery to the dealership in order to be able to repair it. So I'm going to start loading that, and then I'm going to unhitch it. And then this tractor, as we're going to be using... This is our only, like, serious tractor that we've got at the moment. And we're probably going to want this one for doing some work. So we're going to take this one, and we're going to drive along here and just nip across this field, just here, down around, and we're going to take it so that it can be repaired. Now, we're on seasons, remember, so everything's got to be repaired. We'll run up into here, go up to the dealership, and then we can run our first repair on this tractor. So that one comes into there and parks up. We go like that, and now, is it going to be able to repair it? Yes, it is. Repair right there. Do you want to repair 380 euros? Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Right, well, actually, he can stay there. We're probably going to need 60,000 litres of milk fully loaded up. Let's get this down to the milk. And while we... Well, we'll come back, and then we want to get that JCB over to the sawmill, because I do want to move those pallets around a little bit. The JCB is the only thing we've got for moving them around at the moment. So that's another thing that we want to do. But what's the temperature? The temperature of the ground is 4 degrees. That should be okay for starting to do some planting. You do need to sort of wait until the ground's above freezing to do the planting. But beyond that, I'm just going to press left Alt S in order to look at this. So here you can see we're able to start planting at the moment wheat, barley, canola, sunflowers. if we want to. The temperature of the soil has got to be above 5 degrees, and it's too cold for that at the moment. Doesn't actually matter. We plant it. It just won't start growing until tomorrow when the temperature has gone, risen up a little bit further. Soybeans, normally you plant those, and you've got to wait until you've got this green window here to be able to do the planting. But they won't normally sprout until the beginning of summer, so you do have to sort of wait a little bit longer for that. Generally speaking, though, it's probably not going to hurt. Now, we'll race along here a little bit further, and we should then be able to deposit this. I don't know what we'll get for 60,000 litres of milk, but we got another full load back at the farm, which we can bring up and sell as well. So I get the feeling we are going to get a wonderful amount of money for this, which is enough to get, well, maybe not buy, but certainly lease some planting machinery. That's all we need, is just one thing to do some planting with. So if I start selling there, that's going to take a little while. So while that's running out, we can at least start moving. Where are you? We'll start moving you. Press F1 there. 25.5 or 3 days until maintenance is required. So we don't actually need maintenance on this one yet. It's because we bought it quite late last year, so it's not worried about it at the moment. What do we like for straw on the cows before I run away from here? Straw is fine. We got plenty of straw, and then the other is going into that trailer over there, so we don't need to worry about that either. So while we'll just keep an eye on the money there, and while that's ticking through, we can be racing back down towards the sawmill, which is this direction. We need to go out here. We can go straight across this field. Doesn't matter. And it's just down through there that we want to go to get to our sawmill. And what I was actually thinking, I was thinking about this the other day. Somebody said, you really well done. You came up through with the gritter and you gritted yourself a nice little track. What exactly are you planning to do with the field now that you've salted the earth? I thought about this for a moment, and I simply responded with that I was waiting for the mangrove pack expansion to come out, and we're going to plant mangrove swamps here. But in all seriousness, it's a very valid point. I probably shouldn't have been spreading grit on our field here, because it's not really very good for it, is it? We got 43,200 euros for the milk that we've just sold. We've got another load that we can sell as well, which is going to take us all the way up to a good 86,000. We got almost 90,000 euros worth of milk to sell from our cattle. It would be interesting to use this, as we sell things separately on this map, rather than selling everything automatically at midnight. We can see exactly what we get. So you take a load of 60,000 milk and you sell it at different times of year. It'd be interesting to see if the milk price does fluctuate at all, or if you do get the same amount of, if the money for the milk stays the same. It's just that the quantity of milk that is supplied alters, because it could just be that. I can't remember if the milk price fluctuates, or if during the winter, and I think it's mostly in the winter, the amount of milk that you get from the cows increases by quite a bit, and I genuinely can't remember at this point. It's definitely, it's one or the other, and I really, it bugs me that I can't remember which one it is. I think it's just that you get more milk rather than anything else. So we got 4,000 there. I'm going to go and get another pallet and put that in, but before I do, we want to go back over to this one. Now, getting around this corner doesn't seem to be something that we can do. I'm going to try once more, and this time I'm going to see if we can do it by this old trick here of really hugging the fence. Now, I've seen lorries do this so many times. My father used to drive a lorry, and so I've seen him. He used to deliver straw to farmers. So I've seen him getting a lorry in and out of the most ridiculously tight corners that you can possibly imagine. You look at it and you think, well, there's no way that a lorry is ever going to be able to get through there, and yet it still happened. Right? So I know that you can get these things into the most ridiculous tight squeezes, and sometimes what you've got to do is you've got to sort of shunt like that a little bit. Then we back up a little bit like this, and then shunt a bit more, and a bit more there. Somebody would be stood back spotting us so that we could see right to the back of it there. And then you bring that one over and hug that fence right the way over. And when you're in the cab, right, you're looking at that and you got your mirror, like, right up. And if you've got a passenger on the side there, I mean, obviously, I'm in the UK, so we're, you know, flipped around. So that's the driver's seat over there. But, yeah, you're literally, you're hanging out the cab on the passenger side. Someone is, and say, no, you got another inch. Come over another inch, and you can do it. And then right there, see? We've gone up over that bit, but we've managed to get through there just, and that would probably be acceptable. Just going... I'm not really sure what that was. That little hop and a skip right there. And obviously you wouldn't have the cars coming out like that, because... Yeah, you wouldn't. That they wouldn't do that. Well, you'd hope that they wouldn't do that. Those idiots are just going to sit there until doomsday, aren't they? They're going to sit there and just look at you like lemons. Nope, they're not. Okay, so it is possible to get out of there. It's just an extremely tight squeeze, and it requires a bit of careful shunting. Probably just easier to back out and go around the other way, or back in and go around the other way. Either or, really. It doesn't really matter. So we'll run up and get a little bit more fuel. I said fuel, I meant milk. But I'm guessing you all knew what I meant. At least I hope you all knew what I meant. Because if we're delivering fuel to the milk plant, things have gone horribly, horribly wrong somewhere in the chain of communications. Our mill is running again and doing a very wonderful job, I've no doubt. People in there hard at work, doing whatever they do in the mill. I'm going to grab that one there, and I'm sure I'm supposed to pick it up a little bit more elegantly than that. That doesn't seem quite right, but it's on there, and that's all that counts. So long as we can move it, I'm not really all that bothered at this point. As long as we can get it up to the next point up here. And there, I'll dump that in there, and then we've got some empty pallets, and we'll worry about what we do with the other pallets another time. Right, there. Let's drop that off there. Don't think I'm going to need this one for anything at the moment, so we'll leave him there. He's full. Ideal. There we go. We've got another load. So that is leaving us 18,000 litres of milk in the tank. We need to get a little bit of grass in here. And then, obviously, we've got a trailer back behind us that is filled up with forage mix that we'll be able to use as well. That shouldn't be much of a problem. And the forage mix is not actually all that expensive. So we can just continue to buy forage mix for now, and then not worry about making it all up with all the separate bales. And really, you could kind of do whichever one you wanted. I mean, we've got the bales there at the moment, so it is not really a major issue. I do know farmers that buy in all of their feed for... Well, there are quite a few farmers that they don't have a lot of land, and so they buy in all of their winter feed for their animals and all of their winter bedding for their animals, and the land that they do have, they use that for summer grazing. And that's it. You know, they don't make any of their own winter feed or anything. And so there's never a right and wrong way of farming. I do tend to read, and I'm saying this because I've read in the last couple of days a number of conversations about, oh, you can't do that because that's not realistic. And it always strikes me as quite funny, because the ones that, if you, like, investigate a little bit more closely, the ones that will say on forums and on the Facebook fan pages and so on and so forth, you can't do that, that's not realistic, it's not possible, they are invariably the ones that have not been involved in farming in real life. Because the farmers in real life are always the ones that go, well, that's going to be difficult, isn't it? You set them a problem that somebody would say is impossible, and they'll look at it and say, oh, that's going to take a minute or two to figure out. And then they will figure out a way of doing it, right? They will find a way to do it rather than just saying it's not possible. And I see so many things that people say is not possible. That, you know, some will do in the game and the others will say it's not possible. And you'll find the ones doing it in the game are farmers who've done that same thing in real life. Whereas the ones saying it's not possible are the armchair farmers who've never attempted it in real life, and so assume that real life follows the same strict rules as, you know, a simulator maybe should or shouldn't or whatever. And I'm not I'm not saying this to have a go at one camp or another or anything like that. It just strikes me as amusing that the ones that are more likely to say something in this game is not possible are actually the ones that don't have any farming experience in real life. Because the ones that do have farming experience in real life, there is always things that happen that you sort of... You genuinely, you stop and you take your hat off and you scratch your head and you're like, well, I'm looking at this and I still can't for the life of me figure out how it's happened. But it has, and that's all that matters. And they achieve things and do things that so many people would say, well, you can't do that, it's not possible. And yeah, it's just sort of... I read these sorts of comments for a while, and, you know, like people saying, well, you can't have a farmer that buys in all of their feed. Well, yeah, you can, actually, because I've seen this, you know, in a number of places. And you can have a farmer do this. Yeah, you can, actually, because, you know, there's a farmer over there who's saying, well, that's exactly how I farm. And it sort of gives you a newfound respect for the actual farmers. You know, the ones that go out there on a regular basis and do what so many people say can't be done. And that's the bit that I'm sort of eventually, slowly, in a roundabout way, getting to, is that I'm going to lease this one, I think. I'm going to get this pronto here because it's smaller. But yeah, I'm going to lease it. Rather than buy it, if we just lease it, it's going to be a lot cheaper. It's still going to leave us 100,000 euros, which we'll be able to use for some other things. But it's nice that we've actually got some cash coming into the farm. And the beef unit is going to continue bringing a decent supply of cash into the farm, which, again, is a great thing. We've also got the cows. They're bringing in a steady supply of milk. So we've got regular income coming in to cover our debts now, and this is kind of the point where the money starts to take off. I've got things up here to make it easy to load up. We've got seed and fertilizer here that we can go and buy, and so that makes it nice and simple for us. We haven't got to worry about those in any kind of immense detail. So let's back up here. I'm hoping that I can actually get these loaded. Give me the next... Oh, there we go. That's close enough. That'll load up. What should we grow this year? The beef, they do require either wheat, barley, or maize. It's got to be one of those. So I'm thinking in order just to keep this relatively simple, we will do barley and wheat on the fields that we've got. We won't worry about doing any maize. At least not this year. And I'll back that one in there. Get that one loaded up there. So we've got... let me go through here. We'll get some grass in a little while. We did wheat on this field here. So we'll do barley on the close field. And we'll do wheat on that big field over there. And then we'll probably plant barley over on 110. And maybe do something over on that field as well. I don't know. There's lots of possibilities now. We've got a lot more land. Which means that there's going to be a lot more combining to do. I do think we'll leave this field here. We'll leave this one be. We won't worry about this one. And instead, we'll go out here and we will start on the big square field. We'll do a little bit of a circuit around on this one. I'll run it right out to the corner, and I will try and turn this one properly rather than turning too sharp with this one. There we go. And the sharp turning on this tractor, it's different, but I'm slowly getting used to it. And it's got to be said... I do like it. I am starting to really appreciate it. Once I'm able to kind of get it lined up right, I'm starting to really appreciate this. And yeah, I'm thinking that it's not necessarily such a bad thing being able to have this. And I'll bring that in under... It's going under these trees. I don't like the way that the trees overhang the field quite so much. And that is like a pet peeve of mine. But it's always been a pet peeve of mine. And I started playing the game, a lot of you know by now that I started playing Farming Simulator with FS17. That was the first one that I played. And one of the things, I never played any mod maps in FS13. I included loads of mods onto the base map that there was, the Hagenstead map. But I never once tried any other maps in FS13. I just used the map that the game came with. And I did all sorts. I enlarged every single field on that map as big as I could possibly get it, right out to the very edges, right out to the roads, right out to the hedges, to the walls, everything, right out to the very edges. It ended up being a little bit of a nuisance because I would farm the whole farm all at once. I had all the smallest fields all the way around. I kept those as grass. And then all the rest of them were arable fields, and I did lots of arable, and so it was like right out to the very edges on all of them, and I would go round the outside edge of every single field twice, like this. I'd go right out to the very edge of it, and I sort of set it up so that I could do single pass, and I don't think you could have fertilizer and seed in the machines at the time. So what I did instead was I put a direct drill on the back, and then on the front I put the smallest fertilizer spreader, which was actually smaller than the one that we've got here. It had a like a 10-meter spreading width or something like that. It was wider than the seed drill, but it wasn't enormous. And I'd put that one going in front, and then I'd have the seed drill going behind. And yes, you would use a lot of extra seed, but what you'd end up doing is you'd go around the whole, you'd go around the field. I would manually drive it around the outside edge of the field 3 or 4 times. Usually I got all of the fields square as well, so the edge of every single field was squared off, so I could just get to the corner, press H for the hired help, and let it go up across the field. And when it got to the other corner, then I would manually turn it round, and I would do this. So I'd go 3 times around the outside of the field. And it was, no, twice. I think it was twice, because I had the Amazon Condor. The Condor? I think it was the Condor. It's the same one that we've got now, actually. It's the one in here. It's this one. It was this. Yes, it was the Amazon Condor. Except that it wouldn't take fertilizer as well. So, I had the Amazon Condor, and the width of the fertilizer spreader was a little bit wider than that one. I can't remember what the numbers were. And so I would start I'd have these gangs of them set up, and I had like 3 tractors, and I'd go twice around the field with the Amazon Condor, and then I'd just press H for the hired help, and it would go. And you put the fertilizer spreader going before you pressed H. You would just never turn it off. It would just keep burning fertilizer. So the money would tick down slightly while it was using fertilizer and the hired help was buying it in, but it would work really well. It was brilliant, and it would just keep going and going and going. It would never stop. But one of the things, I've digressed quite a bit here. The whole point was these trees here on the side of the fields. One of the things that I used to do when I was enlarging the fields, the first, I only did this once. I went round, I enlarged all the fields, and I thought, well, this is really good. It's brilliant. But it was removing the trees. And it wasn't something that you were able to do in that game. So you'd sort of go up to the tree, and you'd have to wiggle around the trees, and you couldn't remove them. And it used to really irritate me that you couldn't remove the trees. There was no way to remove the trees, and it was so frustrating because there's so many trees that were like in the way, and I hated those trees. They'd get right in the way, and there was nothing you could do. And then FS15 came out, and you could remove the trees. You could cut the trees down, but not only that, you could remove the tree stumps. Right? The tree stumps, take them out, gone. No more tree stump. And away they would go. And I played that game for probably 6 months, I think, before I started doing regular episodes on the channel. And in that first 6 months that I was playing it, I started sort of working through my own Bjornholm map. And the first thing I did with every field I was going to enlarge was I went right round the edge, and I removed every single tree that was every tree that was anywhere near the edge of the field. I took it out and got rid of the stump. And it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. It was like poetry in motion, it was. You wouldn't believe how happy it made me. And I don't want to do that. I want to go around this way so that I've got a slightly wider turning edge. I'm going to do it on this end, and I'm going to go back over to the other end of the field as well. And then this field is ready, and the hired help can carry on. You wouldn't believe just how happy I was that I could go through and I could remove the trees. I've never been so grateful for anything in all my life, and yeah. So these days, I still don't like the trees overhanging the fields, but nothing can compare to the frustration of having the trees there and not being able to do anything about them. And then it was just so amazing. I remember reading on forums and stuff the number of complaints about the fact that they put forestry into FS15, and it was terrible because it was just a mod, and they should be adding 75 new crops, and they should be adding alterable terrain, and they should make it full VR, and there's always going to be somebody that's not happy with what you give someone. You give something to somebody, and or to a group of people, and there's always going to be someone who'll complain about it, not happy. And I always get this impression every time a new farming simulator comes out. There's always those people who whinge and complain because it's just not good enough, and it's just a modded version of the last game, and that's okay. No one's forcing you to buy it. It's okay. It's alright. Just chill. It's alright. You don't have to buy it. Let us enjoy the new game. Let us have fun with the new game, and you stay and play the other game. Alright? Nothing is stopping you from doing that. But yeah, some people seem to get incredibly angry, not just at the thought that this new game does not have absolutely everything known to, gaming technology all rolled into one and then improved upon 300 times because it currently doesn't actually work very well in any game that it exists in. But it's all got to be in Farming Simulator, and it's all got to be really cheap with no DLCs and no anything else, and yeah, but nobody else is allowed to like it. That's the important bit. Nobody is allowed to enjoy this new thing or like it or be excited about it in any way, because that would make them wrong. And you cannot have people who are wrong on the internet. It's the worst possible thing. There's a person here on the internet who is wrong. I must do something about it. Their opinion is wrong. I must correct it. Yeah, you can tell the sort of things I've been reading lately, and I admit that I used to get, quite irate about some of them, and I would respond hotly, just as hotly. I'd get drawn into these discussions, but I do try to avoid that now. I do feel that maybe I've grown as a person, and I can now just walk away and leave it. It no longer matters. Right, I'm going to try. Yes, the hired help is going all the way through. That is excellent. We now have our crop being planted, all with the hired help, which means that we are free to go and do some other things, which would be great, except the only tractor we've got that can tow that great big trailer down there that we need to use to put the forage in is here on this seed drill. Not sure I thought all this through. So yeah, my long rambling burble about things. Essentially, I'm really excited about FS19 coming out. Some people appear to be less enthused. But me, personally, I'm really excited, and I still like the fact that I can remove trees from the edge of the field. I'm pretty sure that's about sums up the last 20 minutes. There you go. So, in short, I don't like trees on the edge of the fields, and I'm really looking forward to the new game. My episodes would be a lot shorter if I just got to the point, wouldn't they? Right. We'll leave that one going now. And what I want to do is, so I've got you... Actually, you're the one that I'm going to need. We're going to have to see if we can use this tractor to just feed the cattle. I've just about run out of time. So, yeah. Obviously, there's no weekly question today. We're going to start on Dutch Polder next week, which is very exciting for many of you, I've no doubt. And I think next week is also the week that I'll be starting my other Farming Simulator series, the first full week of October. And I'm sort of trying to think ahead, and because many of you know that the first episode of each week I actually record at the end of the previous week, so now I'm sort of getting confused with how time is going to progress and where time is going to be. And yeah, I'm amazed how Doctor Who. I got to take my hat off to the person, because quite frankly, Doctor Who has life must be tricky being Doctor Who. Not sort of knowing which way is up and which way is Thursday. It's bound to get difficult. Now, can this little tractor take this one? But I'm pretty sure that when we moved to Dutch Polder, the same week is also the same week that I intend to start doing my new series on the, I think it's the Pacific Inlet logging map. It's a logging map anyway, it's going to be a logging map, and so I'll be doing that. It's going to be the other end of the week for you. You'll have more Farming Simulator, and it's going to be up until the release of the new game, and then for a little while after the release of the new game, we'll have Farming Simulator every day. But just a fair warning, that's not going to stay, like, permanently. Or probably not, anyway. We'll see. Don't expect it to, is all I can say. Don't expect it to, because otherwise you may end up being disappointed. Lots of people end up getting disappointed with it. Oh, that was something I wanted to do, wasn't it? I wanted to try and tip this out. Well, I'm tipping it out just there seems to have done us a bit of a mischief. But no, I wanted to try and tip it out inside the shed and, like, do a full tip all the way up. So that's the last thing we'll do in this episode before we go. Let me just grab you a minute and stop you. If I just run you up this way a minute. Oh, steering wheel there is just turned ever so slightly. It can be a bit of a nuisance with that one. If you turn it even just the littlest bit, it can really mess it up when you've got a long run like it's got at the moment. Let's drive this back in here. We want to see what happens when it tips all the way up. Although now that we've half emptied it, it's probably not going to do it. Let's tip. Let's see, is it going to go all the way up, or is it going to empty out before it's finished? See, it's going to empty out before it... No, didn't do it. It's disappointing. Okay, what we'll have to do is we'll have to reload it, and we'll try at the beginning of the next episode. But that is all we've got time for today. So if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.